The air in Nbudu was thick with sandalwood and marula oil, scents swirling in the warm breeze as the village prepared for the grand Nkolu Festival. Dancers practiced in the courtyards, their beaded anklets chiming like the whispers of spirits. The great artisans of the kingdom labored under the gaze of the sun, weaving gold-threaded wraps and painting ceremonial totems in hues of crimson, indigo, and royal gold. But no sight was as awe-inspiring as the damsels from the 9 kingdoms, a collection of beauty so varied, so radiant, that even the gods themselves must have turned their heads. They had gathered in Nbudu, vying to be the chosen face of the goddess Nkolu, a title that, if the heavens willed, could also make one the wife of the crown prince. The great courtyard, adorned in flowing silks of purple and gold, stood as a stage for the finest daughters of the 9 kingdoms, each a vision, each carrying the hopes of her people. They stood, poised and radiant, goddesses in mortal form, draped in the splendor of their heritage, some with the soft grace of moonlight, others burning with the fire of the midday sun, each beauty unique, yet all bound by a single fate. Meet Zinariya of Oyo. Her skin was as dark as the midnight river, smooth as polished ebony, with eyes that shimmered like obsidian under moonlight. Her voice was a melody, each word a song, enchanting all who listened. Next is Ntbudu of Akpan. Tall and regal, her presence commanded attention. She moved with the grace of a leopardess, her braided hair adorned with cowries that whispered with each step. The daughters of Akpan were warriors, but Ntbudu was a warrior of charm. Introducing Esinam of Upper Volta. She carried the serene beauty of rain-kissed earth, her cheeks full, her eyes gentle yet wise. She spoke little, yet when she smiled, it was as if the world had been forgiven of its sins. And now, Zinariya of Omunze. Her amber-hued eyes held a knowing, almost otherworldly depth, and her full lips always curved in a secret smile. Men swore she was blessed by the river spirits, for no one could gaze upon her and not feel drawn in. Here is Fari of Timbuktu, slender as a reed. Her beauty was one of angles and sharp lines, but it was her silver tongue that captivated. Every word was honeyed, every conversation a snare from which few escaped. And with a vast advantage is Princess Abeni of Oyo Kingdom, the daughter of the all-powerful King of Oyo. With skin like sunlit bronze, she was a living statue carved by the gods themselves. She was the favorite of the elders, for she embodied both beauty and the discipline of queenship. Next up is the fierce Zinariya of Kano. Her beauty lay in her unwavering spirit. Her eyes burned with ferocity, and her laughter rang bold and unshaken, unafraid to claim what she believed was hers. And finally, a dama of Nsuka, delicate as a morning bloom, but her clever wit made her a dangerous flower to pick. She saw through the flatteries and false promises, and she wielded her charm like a blade hidden in silk. As each woman had come prepared to claim her destiny, but not all would leave with a crown. Inside the grand courtyard, Madam Teacher, the esteemed etiquette instructor, clapped her hands sharply, commanding the attention of the young women. Posture, my darlings. A queen does not shuffle like a marketplace girl. Again. The girls obeyed, moving with trained elegance, perfecting the art of a graceful turn, a measured bow, a dignified stance. But they were not alone. From the shadows of the temple corridor, two figures watched, eyes sharp, ears tuned. They were emissaries of the crown prince, tasked with assessing the contenders. "Zuwaira," whispered one of the spies. "She holds the voice of a goddess." "Itaro moves like a queen of war," said the other. "But watch Fari," the first murmured, eyes narrowing. "She speaks too sweetly. She hides knives in her smile." For a long moment they studied, measured, judged. Then one of them stiffened. "One of the girls is missing," he exclaimed. "Where is Mafenwa?" While the other girls trained, learned, and charmed, one was absent. Mafenwa. Instead of standing in the grand courtyard, she sat by the riverbanks, feet dipped into the cool waters, head resting against Omolu's shoulder. They sat in silence, the kind that needed no words, the kind that spoke in stolen glances and secret smiles. "You should be with them," Omolu said finally, though his voice carried no command, only quiet understanding. Mafenwa sighed. "I do not wish to play peacock in front of men who see only the mask and not the wearer." Omolu chuckled, his voice deep like the earth itself. "And yet the gods may already have plans for you." Back at home, Mafenwa's mother seethed. Her hands trembled as she crushed a dried leaf between her fingers, her breath sharp as she turned to the messenger who delivered the news. "She was where?" she asked, her voice cold. "By the river, with the hunter's son." A silence fell, thick and heavy. Then, slowly, her mother exhaled, but her expression had darkened. "No," she whispered, "not this time." She turned, stepping towards the door, her footsteps steady, determined. Mafenwa had played with fate for too long. It was time to remind her who she was meant to be. Back at the riverbanks, Mafenwa and Omolu remain lost in each other's eyes, the golden light of dusk casting a warm glow on the rippling water. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves, carrying the distant hum of festival preparations. Suddenly, a sharp snap. A branch breaks in the distance. Mafenwa's head turns instantly, her heartbeat quickening. The moment stretches, her breath shallow. It is not an animal. Behind the trees, a shadow moves, silent, calculated. Someone is watching. Someone is listening.